Gita originates from India and is regarded as a foundation text for yoga practitioners and yoga teachers. Yoga has been recognized by UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity that needs to be preserved. Yoga is for everyone. In this episode, we are looking at how yoga is perceived in the West. Is the study of ancient texts seen as a yoga practice and encouraged? How are Western yoga teachers offering this heritage to the large public and their students? What is true yoga?
We try to import, since the very beginning, the true tradition of yoga to preserve the richness also of this wonderful science, which has become now heritage of humanity, and we are all of us very happy of that.
Antonietta Rozzi is the founder and president of Sarva Yoga International in Italy. She started practicing yoga 45 years ago and visited many yoga schools and ashrams in India over the years. She's been organizing yoga programs in Italy for a long time now. Today, she's a senior professor of the Italian Yoga Federation. For 45 years, she has been a member of the Italian Commission of the Ministry of Education to develop official programs of yoga at schools, colleges, and universities in Italy. In 2019, she received the Prime Minister's Award for Outstanding Contribution of Promotion and Development of Yoga by the Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi.
Mainly at the beginning, many people thought that yoga were only asana, strange posture, and also strange people, because as you know, in the 70s, due also to the publicity of the Beatles, who import some practices of yoga, it was seen for something like the hippies and only for them. And it takes some time to make the people aware, the general public, aware that yoga is really a science, which is, of course, very ancient. It doesn't belong really to the European and Italian tradition, but which can be universal.
I've been teaching yoga. Before that, I was teaching yoga since 1998. And when I opened my own place, I've been basically teaching yoga every single morning for 14 years. And then when I have retreats come through, then different teachers might teach.
Kirsten Miglio has been exposed to yoga since her childhood and remembers seeing Swami Satchitananda as he lived at a family friend's house. Kirsten started her training in yoga in 1993 in Chicago, became a yoga teacher at the Temple of Kriya Yoga, and then trained with many yoga masters in the US, mostly in the tradition of Ashtanga and Iyengar. Kirsten also attended Kirtan and workshops on Ayurveda, pranayama, meditation, and other dimensions of yoga. In 2006, Kirsten and her husband designed, built, and started running their yoga resort, Akbol, on the Ambergris Cay Island in Belize, Central America.
Along with the asana practice being a focus, because a lot of Westerners love that. My teachers would say that's the gateway in through the physical. Along with that, I feel I've always been a devoted student of self-realization. So for me, when I learned the Yoga Sutras, I took the yamas and niyamas very seriously. And we've been reading the Yoga Sutras for 14 years. 14 rounds, takes a whole year to get through the all 4 books. So self-study svadhyaya was extremely important to me, but I was so happy. That's the one that comes really easy for me. So I love to read about the different ancient texts. The Bhagavad Gita has become, and the sutras has become, and I'm reading Hatha Yoga Pradipika with a student right now, becomes such a nice meditation in the morning. It is a practice. I feel like it's a practice that has been left off, kind of like with transmission, right? or it hasn't been made important. Let's add to our self-study, and the importance of self-study is just as important as doing your physical asana practice, your meditation, of course, your cleaning, the prayer, but self-study, and that's why I like the journaling with heartfulness, part of self-study, journaling. So I add this study of the ancient texts. I might be leading into kind of a jhana yogi as well, as far like I very studious with the ancient texts and just want to share them with everybody. So I think once teachers do it, they'll know that it's really healthy, it's really good, and it's for everyone.
In order to live the life consciously, is important the knowledge, but also is important the knowledge of the self.
Miriam del Carmen Seeley is a professor of design at the University of Panama, Latin America, where she has been teaching for many years. She started yoga as a child and used to practice with her mother. She started her studies of Hatha Yoga in 2005, became a yoga teacher, and began to teach young people in her community. She now teaches yoga at the University of Panama. She trains yoga trainers and utilizes her yogic experience with her design students as well. In 2018, along with her granddaughter, she realized her dream to come to India, the motherland of yoga, to learn and practice yoga and meditation.
So it's through the exercises, through the asanas, through the pranayama, they start knowing their own self, and then relaxation, and then meditation. There is a group who likes meditation, so I introduce them in this way of life. They understand that it is a different way of life and complement with the studies.
The last 30 years, a lot of development has been in Europe. We started teaching yoga for future teachers because we thought that this was the best way to introduce yoga universal at the same time. And this has been developed year after year with this kind of effort to teach to future teachers, to train teachers in that vision of yoga, and also to invite many masters in Italy, because not all the people can go to India and visit India. So we have really invited many masters who gave direction to the people who practice seriously, who are involved seriously in yoga. We are working for a kind of dignity in yoga, which is not seen like something strange or exotic, but really as a science. And in that view, I must say that in our tradition, especially in European tradition, to make one topic, one science, something new will come from other traditions, it's not always easy. And it can be introduced, rooted more deeply if it is imported and accepted in academic world. And we are starting and we are very happy of that and proud also, a course, an official course in two universities in Italy, which is not easy. University in Italy and Europe are mainly state university. There are few private universities, so it's official, with the topic of yoga as a pedagogy, so in education, and yoga also as wellness in the Faculty of Medicine. And I think these are slow steps, but big steps to introduce yoga and to preserve this tradition, but especially to preserve the richness of yoga.
I'll be honest with you, when I was 25 and read the Bhagavad Gita, I was a little lost, of course, and because I was early in the practice, and there's a lot of Sanskrit names that took me many years to study and to understand what the Sanskrit words. But for someone maybe that's not that gravitated towards self-study, I think journaling is a nice first step for doing that. Journaling your meditation experience, journaling your thoughts after asana practice.
It has taken years for people to study the Bhagavad Gita, and for some authors, it is truly their life's work. How can I approach these ancient texts if I'm not an expert?
For teachers that are new to Bhagavad Gita and feel that they can't be a teacher of Bhagavad Gita, I really don't consider myself a teacher of Bhagavad Gita or the Yoga Sutras. I feel that I am more hosting an opportunity for people to get together and share. And as each verse is just, I call a pearl of wisdom. Each one is just an individual pearl of wisdom, not to be, like one better than the other. They all permeate. They're all wonderful. So one wouldn't have to think like, oh, I have to know the whole Bhagavad Gita before I can talk about it or get together with people. I found that when we get through it together, we get a better understanding to share our insecurities and to share, our obstacles, and which is also helping us shine light on those obstacles. So we end up really kind of all helping each other, but without giving direct guidance like, oh, you should do this. Everyone should, speak for themselves. But a teacher could simply just read and share thoughts. And sometimes I won't say anything. I found it easier to go over the ancient textbooks together with a group as opposed to me, first of all, doing it on my own.
How does it help to study ancient texts on the yogic path? What are the benefits? As a yoga teacher, do you find it useful to study the Bhagavad Gita in our modern world?
Is a kind of orientation to true yoga, which is also orientation to a life of ethics, a life of ecology, a better life in society in modern time. So it is nothing like some nostalgic idea of the past. It is really, the goal is to see the richness of the experience of India in yoga, to improve the well-being and the wellness of all society, not only in the East, but also in the West.
I used to deal with the students is the problem of the ego. Is, for example, if we have to do a project with a group of students, there are many problems because of the ego. Who is doing this? Who does more than other? Comparisons. A lot of different situations that avoid them to be more creative, to be more spontaneously and make a better project in time and the product should be difficult because of the way people, the students are, because they are so young. And I observe that the ego is the problem, and I start talking with them, no, that they I try to they understand different situations, that they have to look at them, how they are doing, and to understand their ego. My discipline, uh, definitely, being in Sahaj Mark have helped me a lot, to deal with my own ego, no. So it's a very very good experience, uh, to be better person. So then I can help others.
It helps us reflect on maybe parallels and things that we do in our life. And oh, here we are going through the Bhagavad Gita again a year later. Have I improved on that one thing or many things that I needed to do, or change a behavior, or change an attitude? Or it is timeless. All of it is timeless. You could flip open either a sutra or a Gita, right? And it is timeless. You could put those words of wisdom into your life somehow. You can try to incorporate. You can try to use that as a tool for having you reflect on something because of the sloka. So if a teacher did it with their students, they'll also get to know their students more, and you all learn from each other. If you feel you want to share a story or a thought that pertains to the yoga sloka, to the verse.
Good to read ancient philosophy in order to nourish your spirit, no. For me, it is the answer. It is for nourishing our understanding, and for nourishing our inner peace, because the the goal is to obtain the inner peace, and be like a lamp who can spread that peace to others in this world, in order to have a better world. Para las personas que han, jóvenes, adultos, que están en el camino del yoga, les exhorto a que continúen ese camino, porque van a descubrir a través de él muchas enseñanzas, y les va a dar mucha alegría interior. Gracias.